All right, this is Dr. Beretta, and I wanted to go through some series of exercises that we frequently prescribe to our patients, and as well I use personally as a warm-up, as a workout, depending on sets, repetitions, and added resistance. We broke it up into 3 phases. One is a floor phase, one is for people that have use of an exercise ball, and the third phase would be if you have use of a TRX or a similar device, or some collaboration of your own. Let's go through some basic exercises. Again, if we prescribe to most of our patients just to begin their mornings, and one is a lumbar mobilization, just back and forth. And our idea is not to get as much depth or as much stretch, but it's mainly in the mornings used for circulation. So that's with the feet together. In the event that we're looking at a little bit more sacroiliac or lateral low back area, we want to go a little bit wider, and that produces a bit of stretch throughout your thoracolumbar fascia and your sacroiliac joints. The third exercise, while your legs are wide, is to do a posterior pelvic tilt, keeping the back flat, not raising the buttock up off of the ground, but running through in that format. The fifth exercise would be to do a kneaded chest and then across to the opposite chest to get your upper hamstring, your quadratus femoris, and also your piriformis and gluteal musculature. So that's useful for most of us all of the time. Okay, both sides. In general, you're doing that until you feel better. No set weights, repetitions, or holds. It's more or less personal preference. When we go into our all 4 position, we want to be able to use your posterior and anterior pelvic tilt. And from using the pelvis of such, then you add your thoracic spine and you get into a cat-cow. Here's your cat, there's your cow. We usually prescribe, at least 1 set, 10 repetitions in each direction. And if you need more extension, just hold each of those for 3 to 5 seconds. From there, we move into a mid-trap activation, which applies to most of us, especially if we're working on a computer, and unless you are actively pursuing scapular stabilization, I will say 90% of us are somewhat unstable regarding our scapular muscles, which leads to shoulder and neck pain ultimately. Okay? And then we move to the opposite side, and again, 10 repetitions, 2 sets, 1 to 2 second hold at the top, just so you're focusing on your contraction. And notice I'm not rotating my thoracic spine. This is lower thoracic rotation. This, you do want to try to rotate your thoracic spine to some extent. And again, 10 repetitions, 2 sets. Here, same idea. And again, working the serratus muscle, the subscapularis, and the scapular stabilizers. From there, we move to a threaded needle to a full thoracic extension, 10 repetitions per side. And then we'll switch to the other, 10 repetitions per side. If there's pain involved, you can start short, and as you feel comfortable, move yourself longer. One notation is you can see I'm shifting my hips to the left a little bit. This is to emphasize the hip capsule. You're only going to feel it if you maintain your lordosis and you shift to some extent. If you're here, it's very difficult to get into the hip capsule. Okay, so that is the end of phase 1. We'll be moving on.